everybody, welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, welcome. I'm Amber Rose, also known as the Religious Hippie. You can basically follow me on any social media platform, and don't forget to check out my official website at thereligioushippie.com. My book club starts in October. On October 3rd, we're going to do it around 9:30 Central Time, so make sure that you sign up for that so you will get the email, you'll get all of the information as the book club approaches. So I'm excited for that, and also sign up for my newsletter so you can stay on top of things that I'm doing. Okay, so as you guys can tell, it's one of those days where I just decided I was not going to try with my appearance. I know on Instagram I put a I'm going to try, and I did with my outfit, not with my makeup. So we're not trying today, so I apologize for the ratchetness of my appearance. But today we are talking about how to stay consistent in prayer in your faith life while traveling. We've all experienced this. You go on vacation, you go on a field trip, you go somewhere over the weekend, and like boom, you miss mass, you stop praying, you're just super busy, you're tired all the time. So these are some tips that I personally have implemented into my own life now that I'm traveling a lot more that have helped me stay consistent in my prayer and faith life. So without further ado, let's get into them. My first tip is probably the most obvious tip, which is plan your trip around your faith. What I mean by that is if you are planning on going to San Antonio, Texas, let's just say randomly, well, find a parish in San Antonio, Texas that you can go to on Sunday. Or you can even find some places along the way to stop, some Catholic attractions. Like on the way to Indiana from my area in Chicago, there's like this one Stations of the Cross Catholic kind of shrine type thing, and I've always been meaning to go, but all of our trips to Indiana have always been like day trips, and usually we leave pretty early, so when we start leaving and we pass it, they're not open, and when we're coming back, they're closed because it's already too late. So there are tons of like attractions you can go to, shrines, chapels, churches. Find a church in the area that you want to visit. Make it like a little pilgrimage. It'd be really fun. But definitely look at churches in the area, so then that way you can gauge like, okay, maybe I'll get a hotel closer to that church so I won't have to drive super far to go to church on Sunday. That type of thing. The second thing I would suggest is to schedule prayer into your trip. Don't go crazy. Don't do like 7 novenas. Don't set yourself up to fail. Go back to the basics. Do your morning offering. Do the rosary on the car ride there, car ride somewhere. It really doesn't take that long. Do the Divine Mercy Chaplet. That literally takes like 15 minutes max if you do it slow, like 5-10 minutes if you do it fast, which I don't suggest you do it fast, but I mean sometimes it's a quick trip to the gas station. You're like, quick, let's get it in, because you have everyone corralled in your car. And something that I did with trial and error while I was in Colorado was I always kind of put prayer off until the evening. I was like, okay, I will pray at night. But by the time I got back to my hotel room, by the time I got changed and everything, I basically blacked out. I was so tired. So before I did anything else, I would pray in the morning before I even got out of bed. Okay, like I'm talking just straight up doing my morning offering in bed before I even get up. And then that way, at least I have one prayer in, and then from there, I would go over to the crucifix that I brought. I have my little travel crucifix, which is hanging over my bed. And I bring that with me whenever I travel anywhere because it's small enough but still big enough where I can see it, you know, and I won't lose it. But yeah, and so basically before I do anything else, I will pray in the morning. Just my morning offering. I don't set myself up to be like, okay, and I'm going to do my rosary and Divine Mercy Chaplet, my Bible reading and my novena and this and this and that. No. Okay, I do my morning offering, and then throughout the day, I will pray my rosary, I will do my Divine Mercy Chaplet while I'm driving or going to and from somewhere, and then at night, of course, I would try to do my examination of conscience, but I mean, depending on what time I would get back, it would be really late, sometimes 2 a.m. So, in those cases, I would just pray a Thanksgiving prayer, just like, thank you, God, for today, good night. You can just say some simple prayers throughout the day. Just offer things up for the souls in purgatory throughout the day. Just say, thank you, God, for this opportunity, or I see you, God, like, thank you for this. Just always keeping God at the forefront of your mind throughout the day while on a trip is actually a lot easier than some people think. You know, just praying before a meal and just saying, thank you, God, and saying grace and stuff. It's not as hard as a lot of people think it is. We're not asking you to pray a rosary before every single meal. He's not asking you to get on your knees in a packed restaurant to pray, you know, the Angelus. But to just silently say to yourself, thank you, God, or to say grace with your family, not silently, but like quietly, it's really not that difficult. My third tip is to pick new places to pray, so then you actually feel motivated to pray. I don't know how to explain this, but I went and visited the Columbine memorial while I was in Colorado, and I prayed there. You know, I mean, it was quick. It wasn't like a huge, like, I didn't pray the whole rosary or anything like that, but I definitely said like my 3 Hail Marys and, you know, my repose of their souls prayer, which is, you know, the purgatory prayer, granted to them rest, O Lord, that prayer. And it motivated me to basically pray in every new situation. We also went to go visit the Chapel on the Rock. I said some prayers there, and it really just motivated me to pray in like a new place. It was just really cool. And so maybe that's something that you can implement. Maybe that's something that motivates you to pray, is to pray in a new space. And I think a lot of people view prayer as such a regimented, like strict thing, but a prayer as simple as like, Jesus, I see you and thank you for everything you've given me today. That's an amazing prayer in itself. I always used to tell people, because I would get a lot of people who would come to me saying, you know, I feel like such a lazy person. I haven't gotten anything done today. And I'd ask them, I'd be like, but did you pray today? And they would be like, yeah. And I'm like, then that's all you needed to do. If you prayed today, you have already won. So be gentle with yourself. But I've found that going to new places to pray, like shrines and churches or, you know, memorials and things like that, they've really motivated me to pray for those souls who are there, or for the people who visited them. Like the Chapel on the Rock is where St. John Paul II, Pope John Paul II, I think the saint comes first. He actually said mass there, and he hiked up the mountain there for the Stations of the Cross and everything. So it was just a really fantastic experience. Personally also, like, I just love traveling and seeing how Catholicism is different in all different states. Here in Chicago, we have a very traditional mindset for a lot of people because we have St. John Cantius and we have quite a few traditional parishes, but it's also a mix. We have a pretty good mix here. Whereas when I went to Colorado, I saw a ton of traditional people. I'm sure that's not always the case. I'm sure they also have a mix, but I definitely noticed more tradition in the people there than I have noticed in Chicago. It's just an interesting little tidbit. I just love seeing how different states have different Catholic people. So basically, just to summarize all of that up, just pick a new place to pray. If you're going on vacation and there's a beach there, pick the beach to do a Bible study. You know, if you're on vacation to the mountains, do a Bible study while you're sitting around the fire, you know, play some Gregorian chant, you know, go to a chapel on the rock, do a pilgrimage, just, you know, I just think that's really fun. And my fourth tip, my last tip, is to bring sacramentals and images with you, or icons if you want. So like I mentioned earlier, I have a traveling crucifix that I bring with me everywhere. It is blessed, and I bring it everywhere with me when I travel. You can take holy cards, blessed salt, blessed oil, to blessed rooms, holy water. Obviously you can sprinkle that in your hotel room that you're staying in, or in the car for blessings. And you know, I think that's really important because you never know who was in your room previously, and so I think it's just good to just give it a little blessing, you know, set it up for the next person coming in and being like, hey, this room's already blessed for you. Look at that. You can bring small holy images. Obviously, like, this is me and my best friend Chloe, but some are like this size, and you can bring them. You guys can bring religious art. Nothing crazy, obviously, like nothing huge, but I do think that it's great to have visuals, you know, in your hotel rooms still to remind you, because hotel rooms are pretty dull. And I know when I'm at home, I feel more like motivated to pray because I see all my religious art and I'm like, oh yeah, I should pray today, or oh, I need to do this, or I need to do that. But when I'm at a hotel room, I have no reminders, so it's really hard for me to remember if I don't set an alarm or something. It's a psychology thing. I don't know. And then of course you can also bring along little mini unbreakable statues. I mean, I have a pocket statue that Brother Juan gave me. It's of Our Lady of Fatima. She's about this big. She's made of metal, and I just bring her with everywhere. I love it. It's great. And I highly suggest doing that. With all of that being said, those are my top tips for staying consistent in prayer and your faith life while traveling. I would love to know what your guys' tips are for these things, because of course I am always looking to expand and improve my prayer and faith life. And I always feel like I learn from you guys and you guys learn from me, and it's like this little like cycle of learning. It's really great. So whatever tips you guys have, put them in the comments below, and I'll talk to you guys in the next video. Bye!